Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Deborah Eckerling, creator of the Deb Method for Goal Setting Simplified. I'm also the author of your goal guide and the recently released 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, how to stay focused, grow your network, and get more done in less time. And I'm really thrilled because today we're hanging with the powerhouses. And it's going to be amazing. We're talking about empowerment. It is Women's History Month, and we could not let this month pass without bringing together some awesome women. So we have Wang Diggs, who just released a book. I will let her tell you all about it. And then we've got, and I should have practiced, Joanna Dutra. Did I do it right?
Joanna Dutra, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Yay. You know exactly how it sounds, which is not always the case, but amazing, who we met dually through Kathy, but also you heard me speak at a Lioness event. So isn't that pretty cool when that happens? And my friend Dayna Steele, who actually spills a secret in 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. And Dayna has too many titles. Basically throw out a title, and it's probably one of hers. So I'm thrilled to have you all today talking about empowerment. And I would love for you all to introduce yourselves a little bit better, share why this topic is so meaningful to you, but also who you are. So let's start with you, Karen.
Well, thank you, Deborah. And it's nice to be on this panel with other incredible, amazing women. So, you know, the book that was just out is called The Book of Awesome Asian Women, Empresses, Warriors, Scientists, and Mavericks. And there are over 120 women featured in this book, both from the past and very, very much alive. So having written this book, you would think that I'm a historian, but I'm not. By day, I am a chef and a nutritionist. But by night, I am a feminist and a historian. And so... So in a nutshell, that's who I am. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with history. And I have to say, only up until recently, as in the past maybe decade or so, did I really step into my own awareness and power.
Uh-oh.
And there's Karen. Because we love technology. We love hate technology. Joanna, why don't you share who you are?
I see you're laughing. I see Karen laughing.
Oh, wait, Karen's back. Karen's back.
Okay, go on, Joanna. Go on.
Oh, I loved hearing what you had to say. I absolutely love it, especially when you described what you do by day and then by night.
Yeah.
It made me immediately think, geez, should I have two roles too? What do I do by day and night? I feel like I live and breathe the same things all day long. So maybe I'll have to talk to you about a way to separate my the roles I have.
Yeah. But I love to hear about
make it more fun. My name is Joanna Dutra, as we talked about. I have a company called the Creative Confidant, and I really focus on mindset, motivation, and confidence. So helping people find the right view of themselves is really the name of my game. And I spent about 20 years in product and brand marketing for Fortune 500 companies, and that was all well and good, but I really was missing that personal piece. So now I feel like I take my experience and I help people find the right view of themselves. And so it's kind of like personal branding. And I use humor and positivity to help, build perspective. So since this is Women's History Month, I feel like we can all kind of always be working on our personal narrative and how we view ourselves. And that's kind of why I think these conversations with other interesting women are so important. I feel like I'm always picking up tips on how to see situations differently. And I just think it's great to keep the conversation and the evolution going.
And that is exactly why I love doing this show. So some people are watching GoalChat live, others are watching the replay. And and others are listening to us after the fact as the GoalChat podcast on the Marketing Podcast Network. But I love this. Unless it's on purpose, the panels I bring together are people who do not know each other. So it's just as much fun for me as it is for you all. So I'm really glad that we met. And if you thought Karen had a lot of titles, meet my friend Dayna Steele.
Okay, I wrote them down so that it was like a little more concise. I am the hashtag surviving Alzheimer's caregiver, daughter, author, playwright, actor, speaker, podcaster, and caregiver advocate. I've started a new podcast called Off Their Rockers with a friend of mine for 55 plus women who are still rocking this world. We're not dead. We talk about sex, relationships, jobs, careers, dreams, wild things we want to do. I am a rock radio Hall of Famer. Used to be able to stay up past 8:30 at night. I am a staunch democracy activist, and I, Karen, am a closet chef. So I love chefs. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There you go.
And as most people who tune in know, I am a reformed non-cook. So whenever and a host of Taste Buds with Deb. So whenever I can bring food into the conversation, it's such a natural, right? Food, advocacy, food, goals. It's all these things that we do are really important in terms of they make up who we are and how we show up for the world. But I think when I think of things like Women's History Month, the word empowerment comes to mind. So that's the theme I gave us, because when you empower yourselves, I believe you also empower others. And empowerment, in my view, it's like claiming your voice, being as much you as you can, as much as possible. But I would love to hear your definitions. So, Dayna, how do you define empowerment?
How do I define empowerment? She always asks these questions that I wasn't prepared for. It's like a test.
It
Empowerment.
is a test.
You know,
I'll give you a
what I
future shows. I'll always ask the value of. It's always
I'll tell you a really quick story. My play has gotten a lot of attention from investors and producers and managers in the world of Broadway, which has been very flattering to my ego. And so for 3 years, I've done readings and raised money and spent money. And this last reading in New York, once again, the third time we do it in New York, they want to change it to something that it's not. They want to change it to something that's dark. And it's a comedy about surviving Alzheimer's with my mom. And it is a love letter to caregivers that you're doing a great job. But, everybody came in and they're like, this is great. It's wonderful. But the Dayna character has got to stop talking to the audience. You got to stop. We got to get rid of all the Facebook posts. That's what the whole damn book is about. And here's my favorite. It's too repetitive. It's Alzheimer's. It's a play about Alzheimer's. So on my way home on that 6-hour flight from New York to Palm Springs, I just had this epiphany, and I guess this is empowerment. Wait a minute. I wrote this. I lived this. I know it's good. And I'm going to do it my way. And if that means doing it in little 100-seat theaters in little towns across America, that was my original intention. So thank you for the Broadway attention, where, by the way, only one show has shown a profit since COVID. One show. So I'm beginning to think we got a little Ponzi scheme, but that's a whole nother interview. So that made me feel empowered. Wait a minute. This is my story, and I'm going to tell my story my way to help people. And when I get tired of doing it, I'll stop. It was just kind of taking control of my own destiny and quit listening to the way that you're supposed to do it or what they say you should do.
I love that.
See, you didn't want anything that long, but there you go.
I want it as long as you want. And it reminds me, and this takes me back to when I was in college. We had to write up a pitch for what our final paper was going to be. and I wrote up something, and my professor told me to do something else. And I said, if you don't mind, I like my idea better. And at the end, he said, Deb, I have to admit, you were right. So, I mean, how much do you love that?
That's
When
empowerment, is sticking to your gut and your heart and your brain. We're smart women. We've made it this far. You know when somebody's trying to take your vision, and empowerment is grabbing that vision back and doing what you think is right.
See, now you've given me 3 different things, which I'm okay with that, because taking control of your vision is the thing. I think not even giving it away is also the thing.
Yeah, but
'Cause
all too often we do, because we want the job. We want,
Mhm.
my ego says, "Woo, my play's on Broadway." But all too often, the shiny things they're dangling in front of us, whether it's a job or Broadway or a big check or whatever it is. Sometimes those things, they're shiny. It's like, ooh, squirrel. But
it's just Broadway.
yeah, it is. But when I write books on business, I would never advise somebody to go into something that nothing is made a profit, unless it's something you really want to do. And I really want to do my play. If somebody watching this is a Broadway producer and they want to do it my way on off Broadway, I will happily pack my bags and come back. But after 6 years of this, by the way, if somebody had told me this was a 6 to 9 year process, I probably never would have done it. But, after 6 years of this, I know what works and what doesn't work on stage, and I know what touches people, and I'm going to do it my way. So I think all too often especially when we're younger and we're starting out, we give up so much of that empowerment. And I think as we get older, we realize, wait a minute, my paper idea was good. You knew her at an earlier age than some of the rest of us.
Yes, I've always had opinions. Joanna, you look like you're chomping at the bit to
I
answer
mean,
this question.
I am loving this. I am loving it. I'm eating it up. I feel like, empowerment, that word gets used a lot. And so it's nice to get some further definition and some creative examples of it. I also feel like empowerment is wrapped up with one of my favorite words, which is confidence. Confidence, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about your ability to grow, to change your mind, to evolve. I feel like empowerment is exactly what Dayna said about speaking your truth. It is your truth. And it means, taking baby steps. It means it's okay to have a small path to whatever success you believe is for you, for yourself. And it's betting on yourself. That's what empowerment means to me. You went up against your professor because you thought it was right, and even if he said you weren't right, I love that was your choice. You were okay with the consequences from it, because it's okay to disagree with people. And finally, so that I give others a chance to speak here, I'd like to say that I feel like empowerment is something that we owe to others. I feel like if we have confidence or feel empowered, it's our duty to share that and try to bring others into that kind of circle of power, so that others who might be lacking that feeling, that strength, can gain some from us.
I love that you read my mind, because that question about empowering others is on my list of things to talk about. So I'm really, really thrilled that you teased that. And something else that you said, which is in a way similar to what Dayna said, and I'm guessing might be similar to what Karen says, but it's betting on yourself. It's choosing yourself and your dreams, because when you own it, then you do get the power.
Mm-hmm.
So, Karen, would you like to define empowerment for us?
Sure. And hopefully the power of the internet will stay with me as I say this. But, as I'm listening to the other ladies express what empowerment is, it occurred to me that for me, empowerment is the confidence and self-awareness for activism, and activism on behalf of community, activism on behalf of future generations, and activism in a way that addresses current situations where the power of the feminine, the wisdom of the feminine is now needed more than ever. So me, empowerment really is equanimity and equilibrium. Because I think for far too long, as you know, I'm a history buff, far too long, centuries, millennia, patriarchy has been pretty dominant, and we've had a really hard time. And especially, you know, since my book, I think, unfortunately, women of color, Asian women, what have you, also have had like a kind of like a double obstacle in terms of patriarchy. So for me, I think it's being honest with myself and recognizing that, and then moving forward in a way that I can express myself very lucidly. And fortunately, because I am a writer, through the power of words. So empowerment is also for me weaving together words in such a way that it creates a tapestry that can be appreciated by both men and women.
Okay, this is a first. I forgot my power cord. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back.
Okay, because I'm going to say to Karen, I love what you said about feminist and feminism. You know, I always love to point out to people, we gave birth to every single one of you. Every single one. You can't even argue it. You can try.
Right.
You can try. You know, I
Right.
ran for Congress twice. They do try to argue with me, but I'm like, you know, yeah, we gave birth to every
That's
single
great.
one of you. Karen, do you know Christina Toy Johnson that's also featured in Deborah's book?
No, I don't. I actually have Deborah's book.
Okay, Christina, if you saw the hit musical Come From Away, Christina played Diane of Nick and Diane, the couple that in the true story met and got married. She played the role of Diane on the North American tour for like 5 years. But she's also created like the Asian American, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's the Asian American Actors Foundation, Institute, whatever, to make sure that Asian American actors are not only being considered for roles. The real Diane is not Asian, but Christina was an incredible and is an incredible singer and actress. And I can't imagine, even when I see anybody else do the role, they're all good, but Christina really nails it. But she really works hard with Asian American actors to not only make sure they're considered for all of these roles, but when they do, when somebody does have an Asian character, that it is played correctly and respectfully and responsibly. So Deborah, we have to get Karen and Christina together because they're both just doing, and Christina would love your book, Karen. She would love it. Tell us all the title again, because Christina would love this book.
The Book of Awesome Asian Women. And
we got to get you together with Christina.
Well, I just tagged Christina in the comments of the Facebook Live portion of this. And
you did?
Yes, I did. I mean, the magic of going live. So we'll see. Either way, we will get you connected. But I believe, so our friend Vivica Von Rosen said Dayna needs to be in the book. And then Dayna said Christine Toy Johnson needs to be in the book because I don't know how she does it. And I want to know what she has to say. So that's the power of networking. It's the power of meeting awesome people and empowering each other, raising everybody's voice.
Well, I can't get into the chat, so tell Christina, hey, I'll be in New York in a few weeks. Can you pass on messages to Christina for me?
I will add to the comment, but if I reply during the show, it's going to start going. But we will definitely make sure everybody connects because that is how we roll. Anyway, and all this
I'm taking over the show. I'm going to talk to my friends and.
Well, and we're talking about empowering, and then I'm seeing the power flicker on my computer, and I have never gone live without plugging it in before. So clearly, I was just as excited about the topic as you all were. So
I know. And I think if I could just say one more thing about empowerment based
Please.
on what we've all just discussed here, a lot of times empowerment is the context of empowerment is about ourself, right? How are we empowered? But really it's a shared thing. And I think that's what I was, we were seeing when Dayna was wanting to connect Karen with Christina or Christine, the idea of perpetuating a conversation and continuing to build each other up. Oh, we just connected. Let's make sure that this connection is nice and strong. And I speak about you in rooms that you're not in. That's empowerment too. So I love that we're showing that example right now.
Well said,
The
Joanna.
more you do to help someone else be successful, the more successful you will be.
Comes right back at you.
Karma,
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it.
Great.
it is in to spoil Dayna's secret in the book, and actually was interviewed and I had called this out in the middle of the interview I did last week. It's you need to be able to express who you are in just a few words so people know what you do and they can help you. Because if you cannot, I believe that's the first step in empowering yourself, is knowing who you are and what you need. What are other ways? Well, let's start with that, how you empower yourselves, and then we're going to circle back to how you empower others. So what do you recommend people do to empower themselves?
Listen to your gut.
Listen to your gut. See, Dayna, I wasn't going to make you go first, but there
That
you
one
go.
I knew the answer. That one I knew the answer to.
Okay. How do you empower yourself? Listen to your gut. Perfect. What else, Karen?
Well, speaking as a chef and nutritionist, empowerment is, connected to what Dayna said, listening to your gut, but really honoring who you are physically and really taking care of yourself. When I used to consult with people one-on-one on their health and diet, whatnot, taking care of yourself doesn't mean you have to lose 10 pounds and look like everyone else. Taking care of yourself means really honoring who you are. And if you have to sleep 10 hours a day, then sleep 10 hours a day. Don't feel you have to get up at the crack of dawn because everyone else is. So I think really for women, especially because we tend to be caregivers, we tend to multitask, we tend to want to have people praise us for what we do. And so there's a lot of acquiescence of the care for ourselves. So I really think, give yourself a hug, look at yourself in the mirror and just say, you are beautiful as you are. And stay in bed all day in your pajamas if you want to. That's how you empower yourself. That's how I empower myself.
There's a phrase. I was going to tell Karen real quick. There's a phrase in Norway called "herkeldurkel," and it's when you wake up and you think, I'm just gonna take it slow. And for 65 years I've just sprung out of bed, and now I'm like, my husband will go, "Are you getting up? Or are you herkeldurkeling?" And I'm like, I'm herkeldurkeling. That is my new favorite word.
I love that. Thank you. I'm definitely a herkeldurkler.
You beat me to the punch, because when you were on earlier this year so for the book launch, I had panels in January, February. All my GoalChat panels were people featured in the book, and every time I'm doing email in bed in the morning, I say, Dayna approved this message, and I just feel better about it.
Just gonna herkeldurkel and hang out in bed for a little bit.
Yeah, why not? I will definitely link to that episode as well in the recap. Joanna, do herkeldurkel, and then you can answer the question.
Is herkeldurkeling connected to procrastinating, or does it put a better word on procrastinating? I don't know.
It's a thing all unto itself.
The Danes and the Swedes, they all come up with the coolest things, don't they? Isn't it Heige?
Yes. And that's why they're happy. They herkeldurkel.
Right. They herkeldurkel to Heige. Yes, absolutely. I believe in all of those fun, crazy words. And I feel like, you do you, whatever makes you feel good. I don't like to live by anyone else's rules. I think that we find more joy when we kind of carve our own path. I always encourage people to find their own way of doing things and not be, restricted. So your question, I think, Deb, is how do I empower myself, or how I encourage others to be empowered? Is it something along those lines?
Yes, and you might have answered it, but if you want to keep
Yeah.
going, go right ahead.
Further on that would be that I'm constantly, and maybe the Danes have a word for this, but I'm constantly seeking to tweak or to make small improvements. I feel like I'm never fully cooked. I'm a recipe that always can change slightly to make it better. And I think that that's a good thing for me, because maybe others have it down pat, but even if and I'm a writer too, so we all kind of have that way of editing ourselves. And when you're artistic or creative, you're never quite satisfied, but that's what drives me. So that's what I would say. That's how I answer that.
There is a famous quote that says, art is never finished, it's abandoned. So are we not all works of art?
Absolutely. Art in progress.
Art in progress. Amazing. And is there, I love these tips for empowering yourself. Is there something that you do to like really up your energy when you're like, come on, universe? What do you do to shake the dust off of yourself? I personally am a fan of the 2-minute dance break, because if you need to up your energy, either that or I just turn the camera on and then boom. But what works for you all?
Mine's a walk.
Yeah, me too, Dayna. That's what I would say. I love using nature as my, inspiration, as my aspiration, as my consider everything in nature helps kind of rev me up. And now that it's spring, I just find new things to new signs of spring make me happy. But whatever it is for you, dance your way. That sounds good. Karen, maybe you cook. Do you cook, Karen?
I love going into nature hiking, but I'm also a forager.
Oh, we lost her.
Always at the hinge. Always on the.
It's almost like she planned it.
Yeah, she wants us to be hanging on every word. I think strategic.
There you are. There you are.
I'm a forager, so I love going into the mountains, trails to look for mushrooms, herbs, flowers, because I'm also an herbalist. So making my own tinctures, making my own skincare, making my own stuff from stuff that I find in nature. That's what I like.
I love that.
Mine is cooking, but it's stuff I find at the grocery store.
That's good too.
Forage there too. Don't sell yourself short, Dayna. You have to forage at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah,
but I meditate when I cook. And if I'm really either stressed or trying to solve a problem or just, something to recenter myself, like Deborah said, I start cooking. And we got broccoli soup going. We got pork chili verde going. We've got, there'll be 18 different meals going, and everybody knows to just stay the hell out of the kitchen, get out of my way, don't offer to help. When the dishwasher is through, I will turn the kitchen back over to you along with all the dishes.
Because it's only fair.
That's right.
We all find our zen. I had a yogi tell me once, I said, I just sometimes don't have time to meditate. He goes, I watched you cook the other day. You meditate when you cook. You're not multitasking. You're not on your phone. You're not posting. You're not watching the news. And everyone knows to just stay out of your way. He goes, that is a meditation.
I completely agree. And that is what, other than the food, that is exactly why I love cooking so much, because you cannot be on your devices and cook. You only have 2 hands.
I agree. It's finding those things that you can't have any distraction. For me, that's I feel, and I was just talking about this last week actually on a chairlift with someone that I didn't know. That's the beauty of chairlifts, is that I can have fun conversations with strangers. I mean, let's be honest. I have fun conversations with strangers everywhere. I don't need to be up in the air to do it. But skiing for me provides that way of completely clearing my mind. And when I'm in that, so that's being in nature. But when I'm skiing, I feel like I'm part dancing, part flying, and there's really not a lot of things. It's a short list of things that you can do that you don't think about other things. So you have to find that short list, if it's foraging or if it's dancing. I'm sure dancing clears your mind, Deb, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you cannot be in a bad mood and dance.
That's right.
I have no rhythm.
You can't?
No, I'm the whitest of all of you. I have no rhythm whatsoever.
That's the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
No, that's why I played the record for a living for 25 years. That's why.
What station were you on, Dayna?
I was on Rock 101, KLOL.
Okay, I hear it. I hear it coming right through.
Yeah, Rock 101, KLOL. Van Halen tickets coming up and just right after this. Yeah,
And
I was
that
on
was from before LOL was the thing.
Yeah, it was. It was long before LOL. So yeah, I was on the air in Houston for about 25 years.
Got it. All right.
It was fun. It was fun. Then I married a poor government employee. And he's wonderful. I always thought I was going to marry a rock star, but he's a rock star too.
Isn't he an astronaut?
He was a test pilot. He trained all the astronauts to land the space shuttle, and he was the captain of the 747 that carried the space shuttle.
I'm sorry, that might be cooler than a rock star.
I know it was really, you meet people on an airplane and they're like, "What do you do?" "I'm a rock DJ." "What do you do?" "I fly for NASA." They're like, "Y'all just aren't normal, are you? You're just not normal." They look at you like you're making this up. I'm like, "I'm sorry." They're like, "How did you meet?" And I'm like, "Well, when David Crosby got out of prison, like all good stories start." And people just look at me and go, "What?"
They want to be your friend, right? I mean, you're the source.
Well, they don't believe us. They're like, I mean, after a while, it's like, "Yeah, David Crosby of Crosby, Stills and Nash introduced us." They're like, "Yeah, But I've met a lot of great people, and I love Deborah's new book. I mean, your enthusiasm, it's just amazing.
Thank you. Well, and as I say, the secret to success is there is no one secret. So what do? You reach out to everybody. Well, not a fraction, I guess, because I do know a lot of people, but these rock star people who I know have a voice and want to empower, give to, uplift others. And it grew from there. So thank you for saying that. And thank you for being part of it.
Well, you just have so many energy, and you have like 28 books now.
4. 2 traditional, 2 self, 2 traditional. But my goal with 52 Secrets is it's like a chicken soup book. So my vision is for this to start a movement of people sharing their secrets, which is what we do on the show. Because all those gurus who say do this one thing and your life will be better. Come on. We do not all have everybody's exact background, which is why you need to take all the advice that's out there out for a spin and see let me see how many metaphors, see what fits.
I want to hear more about Joanna's book. You're doing a pitch on the book?
I mean, I'm doing a pitch on the book. But that should be right at the tip of my tongue, right? I should have even mentioned it in my intro. And if you noticed, I didn't even say I was a writer. So I can learn a lot from this little quadrant of powerful women, right?
Most definitely. And I mean, make sure that, you see Karen's, I've been watching Karen. Karen, you're very good at every once in a while holding the book up. And I'm like, I can't reach any of my books from here. But I do have the rock stuff in the background. But yeah, first of all, finishing a book is an amazing thing. I was looking for a new book to read, just a trashy novel or something at night to get my mind off of everything. And I was like, I don't want to read a series because I don't want to get trapped into a series. So I was scrolling down and I came across this book that said something like number 57 in the series. And I was like, Okay, that's just too many books. Number 57. I think I'm going to order it just to see number 57. I couldn't wrap my brain around that. But tell us about your book, Joanna. I want to know what it's about.
Yeah, well, my book is about being 1% more confident. So it's tips to help reframe your life. Like, I just feel like everyone has an opportunity to be a little bit more confident. Do you ever remember that movie called Dead Poet Society? Had Robin Williams, genius in it, right? And, at some point in the movie, he gets up on his desk and he encourages everyone else to get up on their desks, right? And it's a really powerful scene. And I just love and kind of became fixated on the idea of if you could change your perspective by just a small amount, if you could literally stand on your desk to look at a problem instead of sitting there, what else could you change? So part of it is, how to look at your life through a confident lens, get out of your own way, understand your power. I have this habit, and it's partly driven. Deb knows this. My dad is an eye surgeon, and he spent his whole life helping people find better vision for themselves. Everyone at some point in their life, when they age, they need reading glasses. Maybe earlier in life, they need something for distance. Maybe they have a cataract, maybe, all the maybes, right? For having perfect 20/20 vision. And that rubbed off on me. But instead of going into medicine, I help people with create a vision for themselves. I help them believe in themselves by helping them improve their vision of themselves. So constantly reframing and like I said, finding new perspective and just envisioning a better way to view themselves. So that's really what the book is about in a nutshell. And
wasn't the film Dead Poets Society where we all became familiar with the phrase with him yelling, carpe diem?
That's right.
Seize the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Seize the carp. No,
seize the carp. No, we veered off food. Maybe we'll go back to it later. But I'm going to bring it back to empowerment. By owning your idea, and this is your perspective on the topic, you are creating a book that is going to help a lot of people. And I am, and people who tune in to me regularly know I feel very strongly, when you have experiences, that's great. When you're able to share them in a way that helps others, it's even better. And I know that you and I met because you saw me do my book proposal workshop for Lioness. And then Kathy, our your relative, my friend, said, "Oh, I was telling Joanna about you, but it turns out she already met you." So don't you love when that universe intersects? And then we've got Karen, who correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but your book inadvertently. So Karen and I are both on the board of Women's National Book Association San Francisco chapter. Even though I live in LA, I'm networking ambassador. We do most things online. It all works very, very well. But tell the story about how your book came about.
Well, actually, about 10 years ago, I wrote a book that was published by Viva Editions, a little small press in Berkeley, and it was on health. So it's called Happy Foods, 100 Mood-Boosting Recipes. So that was wearing my hat as a nutritionist and chef. And Brendan Knight was the acquiring editor that gave me the book deal. So 10 years go by, we lose touch completely. And then I joined the
WNBA. Not the basketball one. I'll just fill in the blanks until her electronics start to.
Okay, so I'm back. So anyway, I joined the WNBA and reconnected with Brendan Knight. And then with the Pitchorama, I had self-published a book the year prior on 10 super Asian women. I did a Kickstarter and funded it. So I crowdsourced my book.
She does keep us hanging.
She does keep
us
hanging.
Know how she did it.
So good.
How did she do it?
I'm so sorry, you guys. Anyway, I raised my book on Kickstarter. I was saying that I am actually a Kickstarter veteran. I've raised over $250,000 to start 4 different projects.
Wow.
So anyway, the book was the last. I joined the WNBA. I joined Pitchorama. I pitched my book based on my self-published book. And that's when Brenda came in and she realized that I was pitching something on Asian women history. And she offered me the book deal. And so she offered me the book deal in August of last year. I turned in my manuscript in October, and the
book came out in February. I will finish that sentence.
That's a great timeline. That's fabulous.
That's fast. That's fantastic.
Isn't it?
Well,
that's not typical.
I got my okay in June, and my book was in August and came out in January.
So it depends.
So again, very short turnaround. And I will say, most people, that is not normal. Usually it is a couple years between the deal and writing your manuscript. But as Joanna knows, because I've worked with her on her book proposal, and I talk about, other than goals, one of my other superpowers is helping people get the ideas in mind. When you know your stuff, when you've got this great idea that only you can present, it goes back to what I was saying before about having experiences and sharing them. Get your ideas out in a saleable way, because publishers and agents, they're looking for books they can sell. And so you're not only doing yourself a service, you're doing the industry a service, but also the people who need to read your book. It is another way of empowerment. Oh, don't you love it how I always just kind of ran back in. What do you think, you're back, Karen. What do you think is the most empowering thing about book writing? I can't tell if she's thinking or if she's frozen again. I think she's frozen again. This is why I love having a panel show. Last week, normally I have 3, and last week somebody emailed me sick 20 minutes before. So we went on, the 3 of us, but it was podcasting, so I was host and guest. But this is also the value of the conversations. You're bringing people's different ideas together. You guys get to connect, and I'm sure you all will, but not just with each other, but with each other's communities. I do want to make sure we have time to talk about empowering others. So I'm going to throw out a new question, which is, what are things that people can do to empower others? And we can do others with a subset of women, because Women's History Month, and as it's been alluded to, right now it's a little bit kind of a challenging time to be female. We have to raise our voices even louder. So Joanna, what do you think people can do to empower others? What are your best recommendations?
It's a good question. I'd say, I think, stick to the things that you're interested in, and not be distracted by all that might be going on in the world, because I do think that this time right now might feel like it might derail people's goals or their ideas or their big picture. And I'd hate for them to lose sight of that. So my tip for empowering is to maybe go deep within yourself and really kind of cull what beliefs that you have, even if it means, I'm a fan of writing things down, not necessarily for accountability, but just for the power of seeing those words in print. For people that aren't naturally writers, whether you keep a journal, but putting some important words or goals on a piece of paper and keeping it visible is really important, because the universe needs to know that your thoughts and ideas are out there, and it just keeping it visible like that is a way of keeping it in your life, that we're not going to let anything that's going on in the world change the trajectory of our dreams and our goals and what we want. We're on our own timeline, and we should be dogged in our destiny.
I love that. What do you think, Dayna?
Nobody succeeds alone. I don't care how successful you are, what you do. You didn't get there alone. But so many people won't ask for help. And everybody you come across every day, everybody you talk to, could use help with something. So when I have a conversation with anyone, friend, client, stranger, it usually gets around to, what can I do to help you?
I love that.
And yeah, if you ask them what do you need, it gives them the opportunity to say, well, actually, could you introduce me to Karen? I saw you were on a thing with her the other day. I would like to be in Deborah's next book. Most people won't speak up. I forget that most people don't like to speak up, especially the younger generation, that most people don't like to be. I forget I'm not normal, that I will talk, that I am my mother's daughter. I will talk to a squirrel. I will talk to anyone. But I just always ask, what do you need to succeed today? Introduction, an investor. Now, maybe I can't help you. Odds are I can't, but I bet you I know somebody who can. And if I don't, I've got a huge network on social media. I'll put it there. And maybe there'll be my fans that used to listen to me on the radio, and I still use the name, call themselves steelworkers. So maybe I can't help you, but I bet you there's a steelworker somewhere in the world that follows me or is a friend of mine or, is linked to me somehow that maybe can help. So I just always ask, what do you need?
That is
Don't be
so
afraid.
cool. I mean, come on, steel workers. Now, what am I going to do? I don't have a catchphrase. I don't have Karen's foraging skills. Deb's got a book with all these friends. I mean, is this really about empowerment? I'm beginning to feel a little bit small.
Oh
here.
no, I love
Yeah,
your
no,
vision and the whole eye doctor thing. I mean, I had early onset cataracts at 47. I was in contacts at 5 years old. I am blind as a friggin' bat. I love people like your father because he gave me vision, and that's what you're doing. What is the thing, Deborah, that I always, I tell people, come up with 3 words. So it's 3 words that describe what you do that make somebody sitting next to you on an airplane say, tell me more. What does that mean? Because if you say I'm a speaker and an author, they put on their headphones and go, oh, that's nice. Like my mother-in-law, that's nice. So, I used to say I create rock stars, and believe me, 100% of the time people would go, what does that mean? There you go. Be able to say what you do in 3 words, then 1 sentence, and then 1 paragraph that makes people say, here's my card. We need to get together.
Perfect.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my
It
3
is.
words, my 3 words now are Alzheimer's caregiver activist. Because I'm not an advocate. I've decided I'm an activist. This, excuse my language, this shit has gone on too long. We don't have a cure. We've got medicines, but, so I'm an activist for caregivers and the cost of caregiving and what's happening. So, and everyone's been touched by dementia or Alzheimer's, or they know they will be. So anytime you can give people 3 words that describe what you do, that will make people say, tell me more. That's icing on a cake right there. Just run with it.
Okay. So Dayna, your 3 words, repeat them.
Alzheimer's caregiver activist. Excellent.
I'm now going to ask Joanna and Karen what their 3 words are. Mine are goal setting simplified, just because everything. I'm a goal girl.
And by the way, sometimes it takes an entire bottle of Chardonnay, and then you wake up at 2 a.m. and go, oh, I know what my 3 words are. So don't put them on the spot. It takes, like, my 27-year-old nephew has an aerospace degree, and he's having a hard time getting a job. And he basically does reverse engineering. He looks to see where your product or your engineering project could break down. So I made him start his resume with, I break things. And I said, you're right. Every time somebody says, what do you do? Or what's your expertise? He says, I now say I break things. And people say, what does that mean? And it's how I reverse engineer your processes to see where your problems are.
Okay, so I will say, if you know what your 3 words are, you may share them. And if not, no pressure. But I have my own guesses of what Joanna's and Karen's are.
Well, I'll try and squeeze my 3 words before I disappear again. I am a storyteller, an activist, and a fermenter.
Okay, that's too many words.
What storyteller is 1 word?
Activist.
Okay, we can cut the words. Story, yeah. What does a fermentist do? She's gonna keep me hanging.
I think that's like sauerkraut. There's all things that need time to get to their best point.
Yeah,
I'm an ambassador for microbes.
Because I guarantee you, I'm a micro
ambassador for microbes.
I'm a microbe ambassador. I guarantee
so
you,
good.
100% of the people you meet on the subway, an airplane, a small talk happy hour, whatever, 100% of people you meet are going to go, what does that mean? Or what do you do? That gives you the opportunity to give them a sentence. Don't give them anything more than a sentence, because you want them to, I would say, I create rock stars. What does that mean? Are you in the music business? Are you a manager? No, I was on rock and roll radio for 25 years. And everything I learned about success, I learned from the world's greatest rock stars. I guarantee you the next question was always, who do you know? And what did you learn? So 3 words, 1 sentence, 1 paragraph. If you can make it through those 3 things, whoever that person is now officially and forever in your network.
Okay, I have a question, Karen. A question for Dayna, actually. How do I make goal setting simplified more intriguing? Now I'm in this.
I don't know. I might have to pull out the Chardonnay. I'll have to think about it. But it's got to be something creative. Karen, that was pretty damn good on the fly. That was good. That was really good.
What I find myself saying a lot, Dayna, is goal is not just a 4-letter word, because people associate it with 4-letter words, but it's not 3 words. So I need to say that in 3 words.
I know. Okay, I'll have to think about this one. Joanna, 3 words. Can you?
Well, I mean, I've got 3 words, but I also always say I help you believe in yourself. So, and it's intriguing enough, but that through confidence, mindset, and motivation. I mean, there's 3 words that are pretty strong, and I've got a lot of tips and tricks up my sleeve. And
I'm thinking the vision thing. Vision.
Yeah, the vision. I know. I got to brainstorm on this. I love that idea of the 3
it's like
words.
I something along the lines of I help you see your confidence vision. I improve your confidence vision.
I know. It's like that.
People will say, are you an eye doctor? It's like,
right.
no, I'm
right.
not. But I help you see how you can actually improve your confidence even 1%.
Right.
Something like that.
That's exactly what.
And then the person next to you goes, well, like how? And then that's when you've got the paragraph, which I always tell people, paragraph is 3 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them any more, because if you keep talking, they start to glaze over. But if you got them through the 3 words, and then you got them through the sentence, if you can then give them a little short paragraph, because they'd say, well, then what did you learn? Oh, well, I learned about marketing and promotion from Sammy Hagar. I learned about the importance of knowledge from Gene Simmons. And I learned about trying new things from David Lee Roth. Well, I mean, let's face it, I got a 2-hour conversation after that.
Right.
Do you know these people?
Yeah. You've got a good hook, for sure.
So, but not everybody has that weird story, again, that I have. But I'm an Alzheimer's caregiver activist. What does that mean? Well, I lost my mom to Alzheimer's, so I wrote a comedy about it. What do you mean
As
you wrote
you
a
do.
comedy about it? And then I've got the paragraph. Well, yeah, I wrote a book called, and I took a lesson from Karen. I wrote a book called Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a Really Big Glass of Wine, which became the award-winning play, The Woman in the Mirror, which, by the way, my lead actress had to drop out on the first day of rehearsal because her mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I had to step in and play myself. And now I star in it.
Nice. Wow. One woman show. That's amazing.
And
That's
then it
amazing.
leads to all kinds of questions, or what it usually leads to is, oh, my mother has that. My dad has that. My grandparents had that. My aunt had. So it always leads into I'm scared I'm going to have it. It leads into a conversation because we are all going to be touched by it at some point in time. So there, I'm taking over Deborah's show again.
I know who you are. It's totally fine. I get to share the mic with amazing people every week, including yourself. So keep talking.
Thank you.
And and with my book, the thing that I love to say is that I know everybody in this book. Granted, most of the names are not going to have the same impact as Dayna's rock stars, but they're rock stars in their own minds, or in their own minds, in their own lives. Anyway.
I just got a spam text. Tell me they're not listening to us. I just got a spam text that says, "Hello, what is your goal today?"
Come on. No way.
I'm
the
serious.
Universe.
It would have been better if you heard from Sammy Hagar. I'll tell you that right now. I would have been really impressed. Now I'm only 80% impressed.
What about who? What? I didn't catch all that.
It would have really blown me away if you got a text from one of those rock stars just to kind of like shove it in our faces. Like, look, we're connected.
No, this I got spam. What's your goal today? I'm like, all righty, who's listening? Where are the? I know I figure I'm always under surveillance somewhere.
Well, this leads to another question because I'm all about celebrating everything and you're all doing amazing works. What is it that you want to be celebrating? What are you working towards? I mean, the spam asked the question, so I might as well run with it.
That's good. I mean, you guys know I'm working on my book and I'm glad that I'm inspired by your publications that I can see. And maybe the next time that we meet, I'll be able to hold something up as well. That would be really exciting for me. I'm also kicking off a series on conflict management, which is something that I don't usually talk about, but I absolutely love to do. High-level negotiation and making conflict manageable, if you will. So that is really exciting because it was something that I put out into the universe on January 5th, which is a day for like epiphanies. I was having a conversation with my husband saying, I have this skill and I never use it. And I'm really annoyed that I never use it. So I wrote about it and put it on LinkedIn, but I didn't say what the skill was. I just said that I had a skill and I wasn't using it. And then literally 7 days later, someone contacted me about that very skill. So there is power in doing what we said and writing things down and making your goals visible, because now I get to do what I love. And it's not just something that I, say that I love to do. It's actually something that I'm going to be doing. So
it's amazing.
Fantastic.
And the universe does listen. It's not just the spam bots.
Right.
Although that was a little weird.
That was a lot weird.
That was definitely weird.
I'm always careful when I Google something because I know I'm going to get ads forever on it. So sometimes I just don't, or I'm like, do I need to know about it enough that I'm okay with being barraged with ads and spams about it for the next
I can tell you everything you want to know about a tiny house now.
Excellent.
It would be cool if Deb sent that text though, wouldn't it? You think it's spam, but it's actually Deb asking you to set your goal.
Maybe it was. Are you sure that wasn't you?
It was the mind meld. What I did start, yes, and I did start. So I did a book event back in February at Barnes & Noble at the Grove, and after the event, someone said, "Deb, didn't you used to do in-person meetups?" And I said I did, and he said you should do them again. And I didn't say hell no. What I said was I would be open to doing virtual meetups. So starting this Wednesday, or if you're listening to this on Thursday, yesterday, March 19th, on the third Wednesday of the month, I'm going to be leading GoalChat Online, which is a Zoom conversation where people can talk about the topic and share what they're working on and get a little extra cheerleading from me. Karen, what are you working on that you are planning to celebrate?
Well, I'm just going to go a little anti-flow here and just say I'm not going to have any goals today. I'm just going to sit back.
Good for you.
No goal setting.
Not having a goal is the
not
goal.
having a goal. Not having a goal. And I celebrate when I see a hawk flying across the city. By the way, I have taken classes in falconry, and my secret dream is to have a muse. I want to hunt on horseback with my falcon. That's my goal.
Okay, here's your falcon trivia. Falcons are the only animal that have their own passport, and they can travel with a plane ticket. We learned this in the UAE, going back and forth between Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Thanks to the rich people in
right,
in
and going to the Falcon Hospital. The falcon is the only animal that travels with its own passport.
Yeah, because they love that animal there. But yeah,
Cool.
That's my goal.
That is,
I love it.
Sign me up. I'd like to learn about that. If we can just do a foraging falconry class, I feel like there's power in F's.
Yeah, and by the way, the school that I went to study that was
fermenting. Sorry, wait a minute, Karen. Fermenting and falconry and foraging. I mean, this is too good.
And it all ends with food that she cooks for us. There you go. And then we have fun.
There. Yeah. But the falconry school that I went to was run by women, all women.
How fun! I like her. She's trying new stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Dayna, what is your goal? And now then we will gift goals to those who are tuning in, things that they could do to work on their empowerment. But Dayna, what's your goal?
My number one goal right now is par. I'm a really bad golfer, and I love that game. But I literally kick it, pick it up, throw it, pick it up, put it where my husband's was. Just break 100. That would be good. I don't even have to get the 72. I won't even ask for much. I am such a bad golfer, but I have so much fun. And I think a lot of the fun I have, Karen would like this, is just like there's bunnies and there's road runners. Everywhere you go in the world, there's a golf course. And you can play golf, and you either meet locals when it's a really, bad golf course and everybody's hitting balls into each other. But there's always little animals, and no matter where you go, you see whatever's indigenous to that area. Like I'm in Palm Springs right now, and there's little road runners everywhere. So that's a lot of fun. And par.
And G, golf is only one letter up from F.
There you go. So after we have all the F words,
and oh my goodness, I love how off the rails this conversation went. Thank you, my friends. I do want to gift, but it's really all we're doing is we're sharing examples of what drives us, what gets us excited, what lights us up, what makes us authentic, and the more of all the things that we are, the better position we are to take on the world, whatever it means for us.
There you
right?
go.
Know thyself first. So I would love for you each to gift a goal to the audience. So what is something that they could do today, tomorrow, to be more empowered? Karen, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I guess I will. I think I would encourage the audience to spend more time in silence and go slow. So I know that's kind of two goals, but I feel like we are like in hyperdrive nowadays with everything. So if you could just spend a minute quietly observing something, I think that would be a nice thing to do.
I like it. Spend time in silence a minute at a time. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
Joanna, what goal are you gifting?
Let's see. I think I'd say, I mean, I love that. I love immersing myself in nature, like we already talked about, and taking those quiet moments. I would say find a piece of music that is your current theme song and see what listening to that, what ideas can come from listening to that, and be really thoughtful about it. And maybe if you want to go further with that, think about your past and maybe a period of time, and attach a theme song to that period of time as well. Just gets you thinking about what's going on in your life and what inspires you. I really feel like music is a huge motivator for me, and sometimes I offer up different ideas around music to help kind of get the blood moving towards our goal setting. Sure, that's music to your ears, Deb, right? Anything.
No, I love that. And so in your goal guide in the Deb method, the D is determine your mission. And after you have your mission, you have your motto, your short phrase that embodies who you are, what you're all about. And you can give yourself a title, a theme song, a something, but knowing what's going to lift up your energy that's like your go-to secret, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you can just say ALEXA or SIRI, play whatever the song is. I have the first one, not the second, but I didn't want to only spell one because then it would be weird. And now it's even weirder. But the point is, all you have to do is say, play whatever that song is, and you know that that's going to empower you to get more done, be more you.
Yep.
Dayna.
Okay.
Goal.
The goal I give to people is be able to articulate your dream job. I don't care how outrageous it is. I don't care. What is your dream job? The job, the company, the location, and why?
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, don't be embarrassed. Don't think it's too crazy. Be able to tell me. I've been advising some 4 different young men between the ages of 25 and 29. And for being somebody who has communicated for a living my whole life, I am having such a hard time because they all 4 say the same thing. Well, yeah, but it really doesn't matter. No, it does matter. I knew my dream job from the day I put the headphones on in college and realized I had found my calling. My dream job was Rock 101, KLOL, the station I grew up listening to as a teenager, to work with Crash Collins and Doc Morgan and all of these greats that I had, listened to in my car on the, with the music cranked up on the way to high school. And it took me several stations and several ways to get there. But anytime somebody would say, well, where do you want to work? What do you want to do? I said, I want to work at KLOL. I want to work at KLOL. And then when I finally got to KLOL, it was like, well, what do you want to do now? It's like, I want to be on the air during the day when the sun's up and not midnight to 6. And then when I got that, I was able to say, and then, so if you do get your dream job, have another one ready to go, because you never know who's listening, who's connected to who. And then when I got the hours I wanted, it was like, well, now what do you want? Well, I want to do morning drive or afternoon drive. Well, women don't do that. I ended up doing morning drive and afternoon drive. And then what was my next goal? To make the kind of money the guys do. And I eventually did. But if anything, it just keeps you going if you know what your dream is.
Yes.
I agree.
Can I spoil alert? My dream job, this, but on a national stage. That is my dream job.
There you go.
See, that for me, that's super easy.
You need a business goal, Drew Barrymore rock, talk show. You need this like the national level, but podcasting, but video. because you have that kind of positive, wonderful, sweet energy, but it also motivates people. So yeah, okay, there you go. But see, you've put it out in the universe. We don't know who's going to hear this. I didn't know when I would say I want to work at KLOL when I was at the industry happy hour on Thursday nights at the bar at the Mariner when I wasn't even old enough to be in the bar, that the general manager and the owner of KLOL were sitting next to me at the bar.
You
And we're
don't
friends
you
to this
don't know.
day. You don't know.
And I think we tie this back to empowerment when you know who you are, what you love, what you're aiming for, and you tell that not just to yourself, but to the universe. That is really taking control of your power, aka empowerment. Friends, where can people learn more about you and your projects and your books and your everything? Karen, go.
Go to herstoryinhistory.com. That's my author's website.
Excellent. And Joanna.
I will put it in the chat, but you can go to thecreativeconfidant.com to get some good information about what I'm up to. But I also have a link for I write for Forbes, and I have some good articles there. There's probably a link through Instagram. There's a link on my website. I put a lot of content on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn is, I should put that in this chat. I don't know if that's the best way to find it. And then also my link to Forbes. So it's not easy to just spout out.
Well, this is what I do because I am at the Dev Method everywhere. And if you go to thedevmethod.com/blog, I'll put everybody's links and everybody's LinkedIn in the blog post.
That's great. Thank you so much.
There,
organized, so organized.
Dayna, where can
Mine's
people learn
right
more
there on
about
the
you?
screen. DaynaSteele.com.
There you go. And again, I am at the Dev Method everywhere. I'm live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And you can also subscribe to the GoalChat podcast, which is on the Marketing Podcast Network at your favorite place to get your podcast. Yeah, really, really great conversation. Thank you all for joining me today for showing ways. You're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. You have empowered yourselves, and through your work, you seek to empower others, and also through your words today. What final thought would you like to leave people with? Karen, final thought?
Final thought, I think never fear how powerful and beautiful and creative you can be.
Okay, never fear how beautiful and creative you can be?
And powerful.
Powerful. I knew I missed a word. Thank you. Never fear how powerful, beautiful, and creative you can be. That's good. Very good words to the wise. Joanna, final thought?
I think I'll use my quote that's underneath my picture from high school. I was 17 years old, and somehow I don't have a way to attribute this quote. I can't find it anywhere, but it just says, be what you want, when you want, where you are. And I think there's a lot of freedom in that, to do what you want, when you want, wherever you are.
It's also another definition of empowerment. That's great. Very on theme. Dayna, final thought.
There is no such thing as failure. There are only ways things didn't work, and you learn lessons.
There's no such thing as failure.
There's no such thing as failure. Thomas Edison said, I've never failed. I've only found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Perfect.
So whatever light bulb you are building, actually light bulb, that's a really nice metaphor for this, because doesn't empowerment start with ideas of who you are, what you want to bring out to the world and or create? Look
There's
at
no
that.
such thing as failure.
We're theme all over the place. Thank
I'm
you.
going to have to jump off because I'm actually giving a dinner party and I have to go.
Oh, I did give me 2 more seconds.
Okay.
Thank you again, Karen Wang Diggs, Dayna Steele, Joanna Dutra for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in. Empower yourself. Go on out there, go for it, because we know you could do it. And I kind of sort of think after this conversation, you all do too. Thanks, everyone.